My name is Everything Babe. I'm the author of a text that's commonly known as On the Nature of Things by Lucretius. And I'm just going to read you the first 200 lines. It's everything, babe. Emitting people and pleasures. Putting labile swans under the sky to the beat of the full moon shrimp leap. As a bard, you always ask yourself, which sea to sail, which land to make fruitful, but this world types through you. All loving is made visible in the swans who used to be women, and in them one sees the extortion of the light. It is only you, goddess. The winds flee you, the clouds arrive late in your sky. You are a shrewd sun skimmer. We mortals have submitted to plucking by the flower gatherer who laughs the flat water under bridges. Now we spread the clean, calm moonlight placating over the sea where the shrimp leap, but only once a month in perfect unison. Those that fall not into the likeness of type, we put them away. For she is a peacock god, and we most must guard against her. Each morning we use our first breaths to reassure, you glisten, mistress, you and yours. These words herald wet life cords beginning to knot themselves together. Above all, protect babies in different nudes and escape. Follow your desires, take care for the sea, grasping up mountains and rivers. Be a man for the suburbs, houses and fields and bird baths and vines, with everyone sucked by plainness through the sides of love. Centuries of generous and efficient want. This is how you govern the nature of things. Neither without cooperation nor with. In the glowing hours, objects dragged out, not made happy, neither friendly either. I study your society whilst writing these verses because I, the nature of things, must push into the knowledge of my good friends at home. My goddess wants me to do it well. Which eternal wizard do you, diva, cast out with your words? The one made of iron, let's cast him out, through the waters to sodden lands, for only you and not he can order tranquility and peace on earth. Not that tedious transformer who's been making the rules, let's put him in a cave. He is so vulnerable to your eternal victory wound of love, and that's because he places his inner angles in your tower to be sniffed out, and consequently he's been smelt, burning with love for you. Oh, goddess. It seems you used to hang, rebreathing on his golden spirit. Therefore you, diva, you have been recubed in the saintly body, super-circumfused with wise pearls falling from your ears. Come down to pet the placid humans clucking peace. Now, neither can we act foolish in this homeland of present iniquity on whatever platform, nor did I manage to breed clarity in my friend's watery spirit. I tried to explain that with many things in common we were meant to mingle, but everyone needs a little something for himself, so make your peace with the immortal fruit maker. You are what you are and must submit to the atom of all things. The sentence will be 6 conjunctions long without commutation, for everyone has their private pain, their private danger. To resist is to be just another indignant bee who mistakes the dust of his work for pollen. We neither promise that the old gods are fallen or that they've gone away. It's better than that. In the empty air, a wise brain sends seeds carefully to dance for true reasons. It's one thing to have a woman available for scrutiny, but a smooth intellect such as this, oh, all contempt relinquished. She seems to conduct dissertations with reason in heaven, and that primordial thing's chaos where the fruit maker makes all the fruit, she peremptorily eggs and brushes out its crinkles, and it will bake in the where and how of our flesh and the la of our body things. I pulse in proportion to call out and name the seeds for her, my fantasy, my suet mouse, my hut on chicken legs. First, bodies. Because out of these, everything is first. Before a human uses her eyes, her hands, her lips, she must use her faith to live on this oppressive earth weighed down by superstitions that extend superstitially the horrible super aspect of the mortal instance. Gaius pitted himself against all immortals, became like a boulder rolled against the favouring eyes, but neither notoriety nor outrage nor their henchmen can suppress the murmurs of heaven. In fact, it amuses the bitter spirits of the virtuous master no end to ornament himself with the natural arts. Thus the electric life of the soul persists and produces out of itself long tongues of flame that lick half the world. This could finish by naming whatever there was, going on rational to the heretical end, but in sum, whoever paddles in superstition will subject mystery to vicissitudes, and yet, as we said, no orange cut fruit will vanquish heaven. Each thing in this thing is verified. No fruit bats of impiety. You reason down to small amounts and elements. You put into motion the solemn ground. That wisdom can be momentarily scattered by superstition or criminal knowledge, but you gather yourselves. A promise from Aulus of the fertile blood of virgins. Excellent. The delicious Danaan leader, first of men, even cruded to pledge Iphigenia, but since the virgin's own calculations have always outstripped him from the womb, it seemed bad to take port in his offering. Before the altar he felt himself to be the master relative with his own iron to quicken the tile of blood. The waiting ministers flooded the town with their tears, and looked what happened in the end. Change churns to send the earth off into hyperspace. It is frightened by the people. Nothing but misery is the upshot. The fatherland prince gives his name to the king in the form of incest. The trembling hands at the altar are sublated into the larger realization that not even these solemn convictions of the sacred perfect can appease clear hymen. But the defiled mixed acts bend time around the enemy that commits them. He considers mastery by mastication of his relatives, then spins to leave, and the first thrust is given to the happy fleet. Let the epic begin. So much for superstition to be able to ease our burden. So much for supercilious Toby on his knees with an earthworm. So much for supermarket tofu and urn burial. So much for soup kitchen clergy making cereal. All the same to your lordship now, wherever on earth. You speak terribly decisive words to the poet. She leaves. Taking the stage, you seek to divide with many of your endless jokes. They pretend to be dreaming now. Whoever can't extend their little bit of life feels put upon by fate, but lurking at the after party, it's disturbing. If they see their end with clarity, the men lose all stake in reason and take up with threatening poets. Now no faculties at all can be retained in the never-ending torture that is fear of death, and the poets rejoice. Ignore everyone that you know who is born. They can't but follow the logic which leads them to their strenuous attempts to prevent. There was always hope, fools. In the dark of Orcus one sees gaps and holes, and the dancing devil god even insinuated that if our little chickpea, who was first a body cultured in the floods of Helicon, can put on the seasonal crown of the people of Hollingdean, he might clue us in. Who achieves? You put meat on the moon to preserve it, while the first fruits of our sagacity bring mind and spirit to sit together and watch the show of an overzealous noble discarding his mind. Terrifically morbid, he's living in a sepulchre and he only dines when he can hear the silence of once beating hearts. In this way, by spreading his bones to death, he seeks to avoid it, but it is not some obscure god in our repertory. This is difficult to illustrate in bog-standard verse when so many new words are on the agenda. Witty and sophisticated friendships appear wherever there is space from work and forces to guard on severe nights. You ask questions about which one. Who is the lady who is not maternal? Spit it out. It's possible for you to clarify your mind by consuming mints, yes, but magic things will punish you by becoming your possessions, and igneous spirits need darkness around, for they radiate out of a lucid point. We discuss, but nature counts her species. So, let's summarize. My mortal Play-Doh contains it all because the proud gang smashed into the earth. From where I was standing, I saw no reasonable cause, but the massive power tore holes in the clouds. This thing will happen where we see that nothing can be created out of nothing. Then, because it follows now from that rule that we perspectivate where each thing in its eachness is created, and so that each in its way has been made without destruction. Now, if from nothing they rose furnished out with everything, and every type got birth, then it requires no seeds. And the scaly seamen first, and then the earth could horribly scramble type, and birds would erupt from the sky. Little furnishings all over the bald surface, a type of every sports car. Neither the fruit nor the tree realize themselves in constancy, but you see, everything can be all things. When the being isn't generated in each unique body, who can be considered with certainty mother of all?